Our last session, we looked into Ichcha Dvesha Samuthena, 7.27. And today it is 7.28, Yesam antagatam. So, who would like to volunteer to chant the shloka, to say the meaning, word by word, and the brief meaning? Does anybody want to volunteer?
I'll do so.
Yes, Padmaji. Go ahead, Padmaji.
1 second, sir.
Yeah.
Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandvamohanirmukta bhajante mam drdhavratah.
Excellent. Once again, please.
Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandvamohanirmukta bhajante mam drdhavratah.
Very nice.
Yesham, of whom, tu, but, antagatam is at an end, papam, sin, jananam, of men, punyakarmanam, men of virtuous deeds, te, they, dvandvamohanirmukta, freed from the delusion of the pairs of opposites, bhajante, worship, mam, me, drdhavrataha, with determination.
Excellent.
Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Padmaji. So what are the views coming? So there is a indication to acting piously. What does this acting piously mean? And why is there a reference of previous and current? Then their sins are eradicated, meaning account book is 0 now. And when account book is 0, then only the delusion goes away. And then they engage in a service. So like that, some 2-3 main ideas are being given here. Yes, Saravananji.
So it looks like it's not about one life. We have that much collection in the bank. So it takes many lives, previous lives, and this life.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one part I see, that it's a gradual change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So there's a gradual transformation. So depending upon what I do, I receive, then I have to keep evolving. Very nice. Then what is this delusion of duality? That I think we have already seen, but what is your indication?
I think to go beyond the duality, this is the groundwork. That acting piously for many lives, number one, and number two, that sinful actions are eradicated. As long as the sinful actions are there, I think it's not easy to get past the dualities, delusion of dualities.
What then in this context, what is really sin? Because the sin is connected to duality of delusion. So what is a sin then? Papa, punya. These are the Sanskrit words we use. What is really papa and what is really
When I see it as any act that is selfish in behavior like uh, for personal for personal gain, where it uh, where it hurts the other in any way, any form.
Okay, so just to go a little deeper into that, you eat food. Is it for personal gain or not?
Yes, so one is yes, it's for self, but at the same time, let's say that you don't overeat in the sense, or you don't take more than what you need. Be right, like you know that what is needed and stay there. Instead of hogging things from the thing, or let's say if I'm in a place, sharing and then like having. If
But
somebody is
there
not having,
also, you are causing some destruction of plants. So how can it be that, the definition you gave for the sin is, it has to be non-selfish
Mhm,
and shouldn't cause destruction.
mhm, mhm.
So how will you reconcile these two then?
Is it will that bhava help? Saying like when the way with the bhava with which I do. That's why I say that Brahmarpanam Brahmavi. It's saying that I'm not taking you are Brahman and this is Brahman and I'm giving to Brahman and I'm not in the picture now. So I'm like so the self, the ego self, I'm putting it out of picture.
So what does it mean? Does it mean it is the nature of the action, what I am doing, or with what attitude I am doing?
Both.
What causes sin?
Both. What you are doing has to be a moral one, in the sense not for personal gain, and the bhava with which is done, which basically that when we take that plant, it's a good example, because we always have this debate between vegetarians and non-vegetarian, right? But the way I see it, when it comes to the eating the plant food, is okay, I'm not uh, hurting you for my personal gain of fulfilling hunger, but let this be the yajna. You are Brahman, this is Brahman, and like this is offered to Brahman.
But
That's
still
how
there is a cutting and chopping and killing and eating, and I want to be healthy. So all that is there still. What are the other views? Anybody else wants to comment on this? What is a sin?
Ji, you're trying to tell that is that the difference between killing an animal and getting the things from plant, is what you're trying to tell?
So the fundamental question is, what is a sin? When it is said, whose sinful actions, what is the sin?
Okay, a sin is something like which whatever we do against dharma. Whatever we call as dharma, right? So
Then what is dharma? We have to be clear about dharma, no? What is dharma then?
able to discriminate between the right and the wrong.
Okay, so then let us go into that question. Again, I'm not questioning you. I'm just going deeper into that. So right and wrong. So now there is border. There is one soldier standing on this side, another soldier standing on that side of the border. Both of them are guarding their country. This soldier feels I'm guarding my country, and if that soldier comes, he shoots him down. Now, who is right, who is wrong?
According to them, I think they are right. If the person who is guarding his country is doing, he is right according to him.
So then dharma is then relative, is it? So my society tells me you guard my country. So when I guard my country, then that is dharma, and his society tells him you guard my country, then it is his dharma. So is then dharma a relative phenomena? So then,
It's
you
the
know,
higher-
I write my own moral code of conduct. Like, you
It's
know,
the
this,
higher purpose.
huh?
It's the higher purpose, not for the self. Where the self is, the problems start. But when there is a higher purpose and you are doing for that purpose, where you are offering yourself in that action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but if you go with the definition that Ashaji gave, sin
Yeah.
is when, you know, your actions are not in accordance to dharma. Then we need to be clear about what is dharma.
Not causing harm to the other. Mentally
Dharma
or
is not
physically.
causing harm to the other.
Mentally
But-
or physically.
But
Yeah.
you know, in the example that I just now took, there is, whether it is in eating or whether you are doing your action as a guard, as a soldier, you're causing a harm to the other.
Well, yeah, in this case, it's done as your okay. His dharma is to fight in this case, okay, and he's not doing that for his personal gain. That is his job. He's doing it, uh, and in that process, he's even offering himself, right? He's giving his life for his dharma.
Okay. Yes, Shailajaji, you want to say something?
Sorry, sir, by mistake I pressed.
Okay. No, but what is your opinion, Shailajaji, on sin? What is sin? What do you think is this papa? We keep using, no?
Yeah, yes. Sir.
Papa, punya. When is something papa and when is something punya?
That's what Sarvanan ji said. I will go with that. That is, we should not hurt others' feelings. We should go should not go against the dharma.
Okay.
Even in a even in a soldier situation, there is a protocol, there is agreement. I don't attack, okay, and like when there is someone attack, I defend. That's so. Again, that is a dharma where he's following that. I'm not going to harm anyone, but if someone is going to harm this, then I have to do my dharma, my job.
Okay. Very nice.
Sir, I have a little bit different view of this meaning of the shloka.
Yeah.
So I feel that, like Sarvananji said, that the transformation is of many lifetimes and not only of this lifetime. So it begins with like, if you are pious, is related with like you are very religious and devoted mostly. So if you have led your life like that in your previous lifetime, so as a spiritual evolution of individual happens, they go towards that state of getting free from the dualities of delusion. And from my point of view, what our sinful action is, I think when as you get eradicated from the dualities of yourself, you do not judge anybody. That is the primary thing that comes, I think. I mean, then you don't discriminate something that is happening bad to you, or it's not a good situation. You don't judge it essentially, because then you take as it comes and you do whatever is needed at that particular moment, and that is what is dharma. It is not relative as well. It is like as and when things need to be done, it is done by you, and you don't take the ownership of it essentially. So whatever you do, it is offered at his feet, and when that happens, then you don't have any judgment of whether you did right or wrong and the other person did right or wrong. I think that is one thing which is essentially meaning getting free, I feel. Because like even if you take the soldier's case, like you said, both of them are protecting their countries, and the soldier from this side is, for him, he is an enemy, and for him it is the same. This one is an enemy. Like Arjuna also faced the same situation with his own family members. But when you do whatever is essential at that moment, then I think you are free from the karma of that also. That is what I feel this shloka is conveyed. So then when you do this way, then everything is in service for him, because everything is him. You are him, the other person is him, everything is him. So then there is no separation as such. So that is my take, sir.
Very nice, excellent. Is there any other view that Shilpa Kalaji or Ashwini ji also want to share?
Hari Om.
Yeah.
Ashwini here.
Yes, Ashwini ji.
According to me, sinful action will be any act done with the wrong intention and against the dharma. So now what is dharma? Dharma is in plant case now. For vegetarian people, we have food plant generated from plants, and we cut plants, but that is for our survival. That is our dharma, to protect our body, to maintain our body in healthy condition. It is our dharma also, so that we can serve the world. So cutting plants and having vegetarian food can be our dharma for our survival of the body. So that will not amount to the sinful action. But if we cut any animal for our survival, that will be against our dharma, because we can have vegetarian food, we have options, and we can survive without hurting the animals. So the people, when they cut the animals, there is a, what I can say, there must be very sad feeling for them. There must be survival fight their own. So the feelings coming out of the animals are very what I can say. I don't find word, but the mental state of the animal will be very different than the plants.
Yeah, when the animal is being cut, it also feels the pain and it feels sad. Yeah.
So we are hurting, that will amount to the sinful action. Instead, when we have planned it, it may not amount to the sinful action, because we are doing this for our survival of the body, and we have option not to give the pain to the animals and have vegetarian food, wherein there is a life, but the pain is less. Pain will be there, but pain will be lesser. So the intention here is will create a role whether the particular action is very sinful or not sinful, papa or punya. This is how I was thinking.
Excellent. So the
What
intention determines whether it's a sin or not a sin.
Yes, when the doctor does any operation, the intention behind the doctor cutting the patient is curing him, or the intention is good to improve the health of the patient.
Yeah.
But when the person kills any person, the intention behind that is killing the person, which will amount to the sin. Whereas doctors are cutting the patient will not amount to the sin. So intention behind any act will amount to the sin or papa or punya. This is how I think.
Excellent. Very nice.
Also, sir, I want to add here, like what Ashwini ji said, plants, the only way for plants to reproduce is when we use that fruit and that seed is getting thrown or dispersed elsewhere. So I think one of the plants' dharma of survival or reproducing is also through us. So I think it is mutually benefiting, whereas animals is not like that.
Excellent. Yeah. So in a way, it first offers its own outer body, and then thereby
Correct.
it propagates.
Yeah, correct. Otherwise, anyway, that is going to go waste, right? So I think nature has beautifully done that.
One more thing to add to that, I think the consciousness in plants are, I think they're quite less, I mean, rudimentary, like compared to the animals.
Yeah, so the feeling system, the nervous system is not as
Not
developed.
that, yeah.
So the sensation of the pain may not be there, is how people, scientists put it.
Yeah.
Shubhaji, do you have anything to share? Shubhaji, are you there? Okay, not able to hear Shubhaji. How about Shilpa Kalaji?
So I have actually nothing to share. Like to your question, what is a sin? So of course the intention matters, and also if there is ego involved,
Yeah.
which it's about your personal gain,
Yeah.
that also amounts to a sinful act. That's what I was thinking.
Excellent. Very nice. Yeah, so there are two kind of frameworks, two levels at which we can broadly see this. One is in the relative level. Another one is the absolute level, or what we can call as the dvaita and the advaita. So in the world, there is me and the other. When I have that kind of a feeling that I am separate from the world, how I operate in the world is, oh, I need to eat. Why? I need to help this body survive. Oh, I need to work. Why? I need to get money. Oh, I need to make a house. So there is a I. And that I is going on in the world doing things. So there are many things that I has to do. That I has to, of course, help this body survive. Now, whatever is necessary, so then can be, like many of you said, can be called as, oh, it is the dharma. Meaning what? What is really dharma? Dharma essentially is nothing but action. Dharma, how do you know about dharma? Is only through action. The way one acts in life, you say, oh, it's a very dharmic behavior. Oh, this is dharma. So action, essentially, a group of actions is what we are calling as dharma. So then, which is the dharma, which is dharmic action, which is non-dharmic action? In some cases, it is given very religiously. Okay, like Padmaji said, no? Piousness is usually also connected to religious attitudes. Religious means what? My religion says so, so I am following so. So I have not gone deeper into why it is so, or should I do this way or not. My religion says so, so I am doing it so. So thou shall not steal. Okay, I will not steal. So there is a wonderful story. In 1927, when there was a Great Depression, one old lady stole some bun, and she was brought to the court in New York. And the judge asked her, did you steal? She said, yes, I stole. Why did you steal? I have become old and I have 3 grandchildren and I couldn't see their hunger. I had to steal. Okay, so are you feeling apologetic? Are you sorry? I know I shouldn't be stealing, but I have no other option. Okay, but then you have accepted your action. According to law, you are at wrong. You have to pay a fine of $50. If I had $50, I would have bought the bun. Why I would be stealing? So she was crying. So then the judge said, you have to pay. No escape from that. Then he said, okay, everyone in this court, including me, we are all responsible for the situation of this lady. Today, a old lady doesn't have enough food because one of us is grabbing more. One of us is not willing to share what I have. So therefore, in the larger scheme of life, though it is not in the book of the law, in the larger scheme of life, each one of us is at mistake. Not of the stealing mistake. She has done the physical act of stealing, but we all have done the physical, the act of stealing that, ideally should have been shared. So I put a charge on everybody. So collect that. Now he says, this much is for the court fee, the rest, mother, for you. So because you have already paid the fine for the court, now you take the rest and you please feed your children. So in the relative scale of life, in the relative scheme of life, there is definitely all these intentions. I am the doer. So when I do something that is for the benefit of others, then, when I am the doer, I am maintaining my own small bank account. There, something gets credited. That is what I call as punya. So when I did something for the benefit of others, then whenever I am the doer and I do something which is harmful for the other, then something gets debited. That is a sin. So this bank balance, as long as I am the doer, it keeps increasing or keeps decreasing. If the credit is more, then I get good benefits. It is like I put mango seed, after 20 years, I am enjoying mango. Nice. I put chili seed, after a few months, I get only chili only. So I cannot enjoy mango. So that is the relative level. So at relative level, there is a smaller bank account, and that bank account, it is constantly following me. This is what is karma. Karma is my bank account. And there, the right actions I do. Right means which is for the benefit of others. Doesn't mean that I should not be eating. Why I'm eating? So that, in this circumstance, I need to help this body to survive. So like that, there are certain guidelines given. When, one's mind has to still evolve. One has to still evolve. So therefore, in the path of evolution, certain rules and regulations, certain, okay, you follow this path. I'm not able to think too much. I'm so tired now. Okay, just hold my hand and I'll come. I'll take you. Usually in Vedanta, there are examples of how a cat carries its baby and how a monkey's baby goes with the mother. If you've noticed, a monkey's baby has to hold on to the mother and the mother is jumping, but the monkey has to hold on to the mother. If the baby monkey leaves the mother, it falls. Whereas in the case of a cat, the baby doesn't have to do anything. The mother carries the baby because it is holding the baby. The baby doesn't have to do anything. The mother carries the baby. So these are the two attitudes that are given. In what way? One is a relative way, another one is the absolute way. So when I am the doer, I have to hold on. So then I have to be conscious. I have to be aware of, am I adding to the bank account or am I debiting from the bank account? So therefore, then dharma has to be clearly understood in the context of the situation. Dharma then is not necessarily a moral, thou shall not steal. Then the old lady has actually stolen. Then that can be called as a sinful action in that way of moralizing things. So therefore, dharma and moral are two separate things. Moral is defined. Irrespective of the situation, it is defined. And then people then get into a lot of mental anguish because of this rigid definition of morality. Thou shall not steal. Thou shall not covet for others. property. All these statements then put you into a fix, into a boundary. Oh, I should not steal, but I have no ability to work and I see my children are starving. I shall not steal. So like that, morality can cause a rigidness in the thinking process. Whereas dharma is not a rigid moral code of conduct. Dharma is not something that can be put in terms of rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, rule 4. Dharma is essentially action. What is dharma? That action which is done with the attitude of I am the doer is fundamentally adharmic. Because when I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. So as long as there is a ego attitude in that action, it is adharmic. In the final analysis, any action with the attitude of I am the doer and I am the enjoyer is what causes the whole cycle of karma. So therefore, the absolute viewpoint is, the Advaitic viewpoint is, it is in the service of Ishvara. I am an instrument of Ishvara. So as an instrument, the action is being performed. And there also, as an instrument, in that given moment, I have to be very, very aware. As an instrument, I cannot be involved in hurting others because Ishvara's actions are not hurtful. So when I take the attitude of this is an instrument of Ishvara, doesn't mean that I go around and, just to use the example, right? In the name of some unknown God, I take weapon and I kill somebody who doesn't say that God's name. I give it this is ordained by my God. Then that is totally an illogical way of functioning in the world. That is adharmic still, because which God would say, only you are better and the other one is not better? So no use of God-given intelligence. When you rigidly follow written statements and rigidly adhere, then that becomes adharmic. Though in your mind, you may be thinking that it is the most dharmic action. So therefore, dharma is not a very easy thing to follow. Dharma is not therefore very easy. That's why Mahabharata is full of this kinds of juxtaposition. So many contradictory situations, so many confusing situations. In all that, how do you keep yourself focused? What is the right action then? So the right action is not by the attitude of the society. Right action is not by the judgment given by the society. If 10 people around me say that it is okay, it's good to kill because this person doesn't believe in this my statement of religion, that doesn't make it right. So therefore, right and wrong is not by the society's mind. Right and wrong is by the divine mind. What is divine mind then? It is what is universal law. In existence, if you see, there's a natural cycle of offering. Sun is glowing without any judgment of who's using me. Am I being applauded? Am I being given the credit? Is this offering? Is this offering? Wind is this offering. This offering is the yajna. Yajna is where there is no expectation of any return. There is still a doing. And in that, there is no more anxiety or bank balance that is running here. What I got, what I lost. So true dharma is an attitude of offering. In that true attitude of offering, every little action is an offering. This breathing is like Saravananji said, is an attitude of offering. This eating is an attitude of offering. When there is true attitude of offering, then naturally overindulgence will not happen. When there is a true attitude of offering, greed will not happen. So, attitude of offering, the yajna bhava, and whose yajna? Ishvara's yajna. And this body and mind is a samit. Samit means what? In yajna, usually you offer something to the fire and it burns. This body and mind is the samit in the Mahayajna of the Purusha that is happening, of the Ishvara that is happening. And in the current situation, what is the right action then? That action which is the action of offering. When there is no I, what am I going to get? Then naturally there is a feeling of surrender and that feeling of offering. And this is illustrated in a wonderful story in Mahabharata. Some of you may know the golden mongoose story. So, after the Kurukshetra war was over, Dharmaraya was feeling very guilty. Yo, I have been cause of so many deaths. Krishna said, okay, do Rajasuya Yaga. You offer, from your Kajana, from your Kanija. You offer, you feed. Then you'll be okay. So Dharmaraya did Rajasuya Yaga, very grand. He invited all the hungry people. He offered so many things. He offered them nice food, gave them dana, dakshina. Each one of them said, oh Dharmaraya, wonderful, so nice, so well. What a wonderful king you are. They were all blessing him and going. Slowly, as the day progressed, Dharmaraya was feeling, Abba, I've done so many nice things. I'm very good. Almost towards the end of the day, a mongoose walked in. Half of its body was golden. Other half was normal. And Dharmaraya was surprised. Who are you? Why have you come? And how come you have half golden? It said, Dharmaraya, once upon a time, there was a great famine and so many people did not have anything to eat. There was one Brahmin family and that family had a wife, the son, and the son's wife also, 4 of them. They hadn't eaten for almost 2 weeks and they were about to kind of die. In that situation they were, and without any kind of now the feeling of being a beggar, the owner of that house couldn't see that pain, so he went to the landlord and begged for some food and got some rice and made, and they all distributed, sat down to eat, and about to eat, there was a knock on the door, and when he opened, there was one very old and dilapidated person, and he couldn't even speak properly. He was saying, "Ayya, I have not eaten for many days. Is there something you can offer me?" Seeing his pain, the owner of the house forgot his pain and offered his whole plate of food. And that old man, after eating, said, "Oh, thank you, but still it's not enough." And the wife of that owner, she followed the suit. She gave her plate. He was still not satisfied. The son gave his plate. He said, "Little more." Then, seeing the great sacrifice the family was doing, even the daughter-in-law, she offered her own plate. And when all of them had offered, then he stood up and said, "May you get the highest. May you have the highest in your life." and he went away. He was satisfied. And that night, oh Dharmaraya, that whole family died of starvation, but they all became immortal. They all attained to their true nature. Seeing that, I ran there. That had become a temple. And I saw there was one rice. And I rolled over that rice. And Dharmaraya, it has become golden. And from that day, wherever I hear the story that somebody is offering something, I rushed there to make sure that my other side also becomes golden. And I heard Dharmaraya so many great things about today, your actions. I'm here and I'm going to roll in the bhasma, in the yaga, in the Yagnakunda's bhasma. And I hope that, this becomes also golden. Yeah, go. Dharmaraya was today so full. Oh, I've done so much. Go. And he was waiting to see a fully golden mangosk emerge. It rolled and rolled and rolled. It was still the same color. It came and said, Dharmaraya, it didn't become, it went away. Dharmaraya was confused. Oh, I've done so much. Why? He went to Krishna. Krishna said, Dharmaraya, it is not in how much you do. It is in with what attitude you do. See that family, whether they survived or not, they were least bothered. The pain of that old man moved them. They were not at that moment thinking, will I survive? They offered. That is the greatest offering. That is the greatest yagna. Not the yagna that we did today. In that yagna, all the sins evaporate. In that yagna, the mind becomes deeply purged of all its dualities. And that, Dharmaraya, is the true attitude of yagna. So the mind is full of all this accounting. And this accounting stops only when I start offering. When I stop thinking, what am I getting? This, what am I getting, is the one which makes the mind become so agitated. So that continues the delusion. What I got, what I did not get, that continues the delusion, because I am the doer and I am the enjoyer. That is the delusion. So service is the way to purify the mind. So seva, therefore, is the path given by all great masters as the first step to purify the mind. Because only when the mind is clear of this, what I got, what I lost, all this is what is causing the mind to get agitated. Only when that
seems to be the biggest one to be achieved.
Yeah. Because then only the final clarity that it's all the doing, and what is my true nature, because the true nature is the final destination is the jnana. For the jnana, the mind has to be silent enough and the viveka has to be sharp enough and the impressions have to be receding. If I still go to the jnana with the impressions, then it will take various wrong ideas. For example, my religion book says that my God's name is the final name, and anybody who is not reciting his name has to be killed. It can be seen in a tamasic mind, in a rajasic mind, as something to do with the world, something to do with what they are doing.
It's like receiving in a vessel that's not clean.
Because Because
the
then it
vessel
gets
needs to be-
contaminated with that vessel's condition. So seva is the purification path. Only when seva purifies the mind can the clarity about the statement of the Guru that you are that, tat tvamasi, can completely shine. So therefore here Krishna is calling us, is pointing to us the Advaita, as well as is again and again encouraging us to indulge in seva, in the yajna. He is again and again. See, Amritanandamayi Amma or Prabhuji or Guruji, there is no need for them to be indulging in all this. But still, their life becomes a template. How is their life? Is a constant offering. Is a constant offering. There are times when Amma sits and hugs people for 22 straight hours. And many doctors have said, if somebody, by now she has hugged some millions of people, 10 million plus, they say, if somebody has used their arm to hug and do all that, it would, by now it would have become kind of completely out of action. 22 straight hours without a toilet break, without any kind of anxiety, without any kind of loss of energy. So
even nature, I feel like it's always giving the example, like a sun always giving sunshine, or a tree always giving fruits and good air.
Yes.
Right? They don't take, but like they just keep giving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the greatest masters are always around us. That's why naturally, when you're with little children, your mind kind of eases. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
When you're in a nice garden, your mind naturally eases. But when you're among the company of high and mighty PhDs of the world, you're naturally very anxious.
Yeah. I have so much. I have this.
Yeah.
I have reached this, and
all right. Any questions that are coming?
good one. It's a good one today. Yeah.
All right. So then let us end our session with the prayer. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you all.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Sir,
Have a
Hari
good
Om,
day.
sir.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Sir, I had one question. If you could wait 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure.